Aside insecurity that Nigeria is facing as a major problem, another problem of Nigeria currently is inflation, high cost of things. Now, Nigeria is a developing country, and now there is high rate of things when you go to the market. There's inflation currently in Nigeria. People are struggling to survive. Like, there are people extremely struggling just to survive in Nigeria currently. And now, one lender company called the IMF, they are advising Nigerian government that for them to increase their revenue, they should increase tax. It means that the percentage of tax should be increased on petroleum and also on telecommunication. That is what the IMF is advising Nigerian government to do, increase tax so that they will increase their revenue. Now, this set of people does not care about what the people are going through. All they are interested in is that the revenue of the government should be increased. Now, mind you, there are so many taxes that have been introduced starting from the beginning of Tinubu's regime. It started with tax. First of all, they removed fuel subsidy. The fuel petroleum that they have been subsidizing for Nigeria was removed. Aside that, there were so many taxes that were being levied on different sectors. And now, hardship is in the country aside terrorism that the country is battling. And what the best advice that this company, this organization, this foreign organization could advise the Nigerian government is to increase tax. But before I will go further, let me read it based on how the papers reported it. This is from Punch newspaper. Revenue. IMF ask federal government to impose fuel telecom tax. The International Monetary Fund has recommended introducing tax on fuel products and telecommunication services in Nigeria as part of a broader measure to increase government revenue and create physical space for development spending and social interventions. The recommendation was contained in the IMF's 2026 Article 4 consultation report on Nigeria, where the fund argued that additional tax measures would be needed over the medium term despite the recent overhaul of the country's tax system. The recommendation is likely to trigger fresh debates across the country given the sensitivities surrounding fuel prices and telecommunication costs. A previous attempt by the federal government to introduce a 5% excise duty on telecom service faced widespread opposition from operators, subscribers, and consumer advocacy groups before it was eventually suspended and later scrapped. Telecommunication companies has argued that the sector was already burdened by multiple taxes, rising energy costs, foreign exchange pressure, and infrastructure challenges, warning that any additional levy will ultimately be passed on to consumers through higher call and data charges. Similarly, proposed link to fuel taxation have generated opposition from labor unions amid concerns over rising living costs following the removal of petrol subsidy and increase in transport and food prices. You have just seen that article I just read for you. The IMF is advising Nigerian government to increase tax, especially on petroleum and also on telecommunication. Nigeria has been calling out MT and some telecommunication company of how you will subscribe, and all of a sudden it will not even last at all. Before you know, the subscription is over. Nigeria has been calling them. Nigeria has been complaining about telecommunication. Now, the government is thinking of, through the IMF, increasing the tax on telecommunication company. Do you know what the effect of that? Let me tell you something. Anytime government increase tax in any company in Nigeria, the company will not be at loss. Well, do you know what the company will do? The company will increase the prices of those products. For instance, if government now tell Dangote that you are paying for your cement factory, you are paying 50% as tax, that is the profit you make from that company, 50% will be paid to the government. Guess what? Dangote will increase the current price of bag of cement times two so that he can get his profit. So at the end of the day, the final consumer is the one to suffer. So whenever you hear that they are saying that increase tax, the thing is that is we the people, the consumer, that is going to suffer for it. That is why you see the massive increase. And I bet you, if the government say they want to follow these people now, increase the prices, they will increase it. Before you know it again, these same people will come and say increase more to get more revenue. Increase more. They don't care about the people. This IMF don't care about citizens. They only care about themselves and the government. They don't care how the citizens cope. Nigeria currently, one of the things that they don't need to even discuss is tax, more tax. As in, it's something that they don't need to discuss now because of what Nigeria is going through currently. They remove fuel subsidy. What are they doing with the money? Other tax they have put and VAT they have put in so many places, custom, this one. That is why you see when you go to the market, things are beyond control. You will see some prices, you'll be surprised. I said in one video I did the previous time, I said when I was in school then, I think I was in final year or so. This one I'm telling you is around 2018. Somebody bought a phone around 2018, a phone of 150,000 or so. I was like, a whole 150,000, you still buy phone? Like 150K. But as I'm talking to you now, if you take 150,000 to the market that you want to buy a phone, the kind of phone they will give to you, you can't use it because that money will not be enough. As at then in 2018, this touchlight phone then was 1.5. You buy a touchlight phone. But as I'm talking to you now, touchlight phone is at from 25,000 naira. The country has changed. A bag of rice then was how much? Even when Buhari came in, the bag of rice increased to I think 30,000 or so. From 30,000. People were protesting. As I'm talking to you now, a bag of rice is over, let me say, 70K for a bag of rice, or 80,000. It has been long I bought it, but I know it's within that range. You understand? Things has changed. And now the solution the IMF is giving for the problem Nigeria is going through now is more tax. More tax. They should tax the people. And guess what? We are in a government whereby they love how to tax. They know how to tax. Maybe they have done a tax reform already, a new tax reform. Now, they will start building on that tax reform, increasing the percentage. Yes, that's what they'll be doing. They'll be increasing the percentage, increase the percentage. And there's something I said in one of my previous videos. I say this new personal income tax that Tinubu brought, that it seems as if they are not talking about it, is because of election. Just wait after election. If Tinubu comes back, Nigeria is screwed. Then you'll be hearing this one. It will be bank that will be collecting the money from your account automatically. Yes, bank will be collecting it. They will pay a system that everybody go pay. Now there people I go clear. You understand? So what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is that some of all these international organizations, they don't have the interest of the people at heart. With what Nigeria is going through currently, what your mind is to increase more tax on fuel. What you understand? When I saw this news, it was getting me angry. Let me just read it. But this is the advice they are giving to make things more worse for Nigeria, so that Nigeria will be dependent on them. Because one thing you need to know about some of these countries and their advices, when they bring their advices, they bring it in a way that when you start doing what they say, you start depending on them. You will no longer be able to do anything for yourself. I remember it was this IMF that advised Babangida on what he did that brought the dollar to square zero. That's why the dollar has been struggling since Babangida till date. It has destroyed. It was the same IMF. And this IMF, they always bring advice on taxing, taxing, taxing.